Well, okay, I thought I would revisit a video I did about accuracy of the mileage between a 26-inch setting and a 28-inch setting. I already have an established mileage of 1.3 miles from here to Walmart. And this time, what I want to do is I want to set my wheel size to 26-inch for the way up, and then reset it to 28-inch, wait the 2 minutes for it to take change in the computer, and then come back. Because the first one I did, I had 28-inch going up and 26 coming back. This time I'm going to do 26 going up and 28-inch going back. I'm also got me a little GoPro here set up here, so my sessions 5 will go right here, and that's going to point right down at my my display, so you'll be able to see the miles, also the settings. So I'll do the settings, so everything will be properly documented, so there won't be any people saying that it's not legit, let's say. So that's what I'm going to be, this is what this video is going to be about. So we'll be taking a little trip here pretty soon, as soon as I get it all set up and get the helmet cam on. So I have the helmet cam and this, so I'll be able to edit those two together, and so we can see what kind of results we get. Now keep in mind, my tires are not the original tires came with the bike. They might be a little bit smaller in profile than the original Naughty tires. I really don't know. I haven't really taken the time to measure them. But in any event, this will be based on the tires that I have. They're Cho-Yang Sandstorm tires. Okay, I'm kind of getting an idea what this tire is coming into, and it's more like a 29-inch tire, pretty much, because I can't quite get it in the center. But if that was more in the center, come on, get around there. There we go. Yeah, about 29-inch. I don't know what the RadRover tire is, but I would bet this tire is probably a little taller. I'm going to check my wheel size, because I changed my wheel size to 28 inches on my RadRover. So I want to check it against the maps. You see I got it for a bicycle, and it says it's 1.3 miles from my house. I'm getting ready to do this, so I have to turn on the battery. Push both at the same time. Yeah. Okay, so going down to 26-inch. Gonna leave the 40 kilometers per hour. 26-inch. That's where we're at. Okay, so officially it's 12:04. So we're ready to rock and roll. It's been at least 2 minutes since I changed it. We're going to Walmart. We're going to go the way that it showed on the maps. Down that way, left, 2 blocks, Arizona, left, then down to Walmart, make a right. Okay, so let's get to the miles. There you go. Down the pedal assist one, that's fine with me. Yeah, these battery caps are a real pain in the butt. They just don't want to. I mean, you fuss with them long enough, they'll see it in. Come on. Well, I know I'll be editing this out. There we go. And plug it in the light. There it is. That's the USB plug, light plug in. Oh, by the way, I did plug this light into the USB. It's only 5 some odd volts. It's not enough to run this. It's 8.4 volts. It lit up like this, but as soon as you hit for the light, it didn't work. So just to let you know, I did chance it. Okay. Okay, if the horns work. Front tire. Tires are good. We're ready to roll. And top speed and all that kind of good stuff. 3 miles that we're looking for. See what we get. You know, I got my visor. I'm going to try and put my visor on. And it's on. And this person doesn't know a stop sign. Unbelievable. Everybody goes through that stop sign. Or maybe there's no stop sign. I don't know. Well, we're on our way. I'll try some top speed on the other side of the stop sign. Good. Alright. I'm going for top speed now. 26-inch top speed. Zola. Yep. Make a left. It's a good route. Hardly any traffic. Blind corners. Yeah, those mirrors work real good. Okay, right up to the doorstep. Times have changed. Yeah, I'll pick a nice shady spot here. We are here. 1.2 miles. Okay. Now we're going to change it to 20.
She's pulling up.
28. Wait 2 minutes and zero out the mileage. Let's see how we do that here. Okay. There we go. Just turn it off. And make sure we're still 28. Yep. We're going to wait 2 minutes. Okay, it's 12:18. Came at 12:16, 17, 18. So we're good. Okay. Now for the trip home and see what we get. No, he's not following me, so that's good. Okay, now we're going to see how many miles and how fast that one stretch will. I like to go exactly the way I came, but I don't like going against traffic. But I'm going to risk it because I know this area is not too busy down this way. That was close. As long as the cop doesn't see me. So I can repeat exactly the way I came. It's just I gotta be real careful of cars coming out of the streets. Because sometimes when they make that right turn, they say to the right a little bit too much, like this guy. Okay, make sure he sees me. We're good. And cars making left-hand turns from the other side of the street. We're almost there. I didn't want to go fast down this part because there's a lot of cars. It's a little bit more busy right here. This straightaway down here would be perfect because there's nothing. I mean, literally, not even an off ramp. Okay. See how fast we get this thing up to? Hitting a lot more headwind also, so it may affect the miles per hour. So I'm getting a lot of headwind. It's one thing you count on in Casa Grande is winds. We always get winds. Always windy here. most of the time it's tolerable, but there's times when it's not tolerable. Better stay inside for the day. Looks like I'm gonna have to stop and wait. I got these clowns, and by the time they cross, I got these clowns. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah. Had a pill. Cross over this way. I forgot I crossed over. Cross back. Okay, we are here, and guess what? 1.3 miles. So, my first video said the same thing. This one is verifiable. So, for me, for the tires I have, 28-inch is most accurate. So whatever you see on that screen, that for miles per hour, has got to be right. I thought I'd do a video about battery care, because it's really essential for the life of your bike. It's the heartbeat of the bike. What I recommend, if you haven't you've had your RadRover for about 6 months or so, it's probably a good idea to look through your manual. You'll probably find some interesting things. I happened to be looking through mine and I ran across this table of contents. Interesting about this table of contents. This will kind of, it's not really set in stone, but it'll give you an idea about the condition of your battery, mileage versus amount of time required to charge it. So if you do like 5 miles, it's supposed to be 1 hour charge time. So if your battery's taking longer than 1 hour, then chances are the condition of the battery is kind of poor. Now I did one battery, and it came in at, I had like 7 miles on it, a little less, like almost 7, not quite, 6.8, 6.9, somewhere around there. I set it up on this pedestal here, and I'm just going to let the camera run. And I put it on the charger. I timed it. It took 1 hour and 25 minutes. So if you look at the table, that battery would be considered as excellent. So that battery is in excellent condition. Now, when I bought my RadRover, I bought an extra battery and an extra charger. So I have 2 batteries and 2 chargers. This battery is, I put the label down towards the bottom. Let me widen out a little bit. This is sort of my spare battery. This is the one that actually came with the bike. The reason why I know that, because I have the lightning bolt on the bottom. And then the other battery that's on the bike has a lightning bolt on the top. That's the newer battery. What I try to do is cycle these batteries, and because it's important that they're used. If you don't use them and you charge them up, just let them go on the shelf, they will go completely dead. And if you leave them that condition, and then one day you go to charge it, it won't charge. So it's real important to keep the charge levels up on these bikes. My little setup, it's just something I can roll in and out of the house. During the summertime, I live in Arizona, and southern Arizona, and I'm getting ready for summer. So this is where I'll be storing my batteries and charging my batteries. Well, I believe in order to understand how a battery works is understand how it's made. The lithium litho battery packs are made up of, I don't have a cell to show you, but it's similar in size to this piece of pipe. And what they do is, and I would bet because it's a 48 volt, they probably have 4 sections of 12 volt cells in here. So they have a bunch of cells connected together, and one section making 12 volts, another section making 12 volts, another section making 12 volts, and another section making 12 volts. And then it's all tied together with a board, what have you, you know, that helps manage the battery. What you need to know about how this works, if one of these cells, just one, loses half of its capacity, it affects that whole section. So if you have a section of 12 volts and this drops down to half its capacity, that section now is only putting out half, maybe 6 volts. Now, how does that happen? Well, there could be a couple things. One is it could be a defective cell, highly unlikely. The other thing is it could be a bad connection between the cells, you know, because the bike's been abused, you know, jumping curbs and jumping off ramps and stuff, because this bike's not really made for that. It didn't even have a shock in the back, so all that shock goes up to the front. So that's something you should not try not to do, is try not to be too rough with your bike. The other thing that can cause this problem is cycling, meaning you let the battery go completely dead, and that's a big no-no with these things. You need to keep the charge levels up. For example, on my spare battery, I have to keep the charge levels. There's a responsibility that comes with a spare battery. If you don't keep the charge levels up on your spare battery, it's going to be worthless when you need it. So you have to keep the charge levels up on it, and once a month, if you don't cycle it, you should recharge it. So don't let it sit around. So if you get a spare battery, basically you need to charge it and store it and keep the charge levels up. So I believe this battery is rated for 800 cycles, I believe. So basically what that means is you could deplete this battery 800 times and recharge it. But the thing is, you lose some capacity each time you go when you do that. So that's why they like to keep the level up. They don't want the level to go all the way down, because when you recharge it, it may only come up to there, you know, because you lost a cycle, or there. It weakens the battery, basically what I'm saying. So the life of the battery won't last as long if you keep depleting the battery. So best rule of thumb, when that battery gets down to 1 bar, charge it or replace it with a charged battery. So the battery should last you 3 to 5 years, and they don't say normal use, they say regular use. That means that if you have an electric bike and you park in the garage and you just leave it there and don't ride it for 6 to 8 months, these batteries aren't going to last you very long unless you properly maintain them, meaning that you keep an eye on the charge levels and keep the charge levels up when it sets. So that's about all I got about battery care. So what I suggest is a timer. keep that table of contents that's in your handbook handy, and keep an eye on your mileage. So when you come back, you know how many hours it should need to be charged. Plug in your charger, turn on your timer, walk away. That way, you know you're not going to overcharge the battery. And that's another thing that kills the batteries, is overcharging and heat. One thing you should know about the batteries for the RadRover is I didn't talk too much about storage. I'm using the same rule for storage as it is for charging. 50 to 80 degrees in a dry, cool place is the best place to store these. It's important to not mishandle your batteries. Handle them with care. Don't like throw them around, stuff like that. You're just asking for problems, and maybe even a fire. So that's another thing. When you charge them, you should charge them where you can periodically check on them. You know, and when you check on them, what you're going to be checking is you're going to be checking to make sure that the charger's not so hot you can hardly touch it. And that would be a sign that something's not right, or the battery's too hot, or taking an excessive amount of time to charge it. At that point, you should stop charging it and contact RadRover and try to figure out what's going on. Yeah, because once you burn down your house because of a battery, you're not going to feel too happy about it. So it's just better to keep an eye on these. That's all I'm saying. One other thing that you should be aware of, and this is for people who live in the southern part of the United States where it gets really hot. I live in southern Arizona, so before I even bought this bike, I was trying to find information about maximum temperature of operation. You know, what is the maximum recommended temperature that they recommend that it can be ridden in, and what it should not be ridden in. You know, because heat is probably one of the worst things for an electric bike. So I got the information back from the techs, and they told me that this bike can go up to 105 degrees, but anything at 105 or more should be ridden with extreme care. And what they meant by that is by periodically stopping and checking your hub temperature on your motor, if it's too hot to the touch, and also your speed controller, if it's too hot to the touch, or the battery is too hot to the touch. Any one of those things are too hot to the touch, then you should park the bike in a shady area and let it cool down, or turn off the electronics on the bike and completely ride it as a regular bike. That's what I was told. So I'm just letting you all know, because summer's coming. Anyway, so I got this new case. I like it because I have access to all my functions for the camera, so I don't have to take it out of the case as often. And this little USB plug comes down, and it is now a microphone, clip-on microphone, and I clipped it onto my chin strap so it goes right by my throat. So I'm going to test this out, see how that works today, see if it, because the problem I have with these cameras is the wind. Good time, I want to test out this camera, see if the wind is a problem with it. And hopefully you'll be able to hear me. Bring up the street mode. See how the wind does with this mic. Get up to 20, 21, 23, 24, 24.5. Okay, see what's going on up here. Must have been an accident or something. And they got it all shut off. traffic. So I think I'm going to go against traffic, which I generally don't do. Now where do you go? There's another one. Oh, he's picking up the cones. All right. Lesson 1. This is why you don't want to travel against traffic. Now here's the first incident right here. Which way is he looking? And you see that one turning in? Which way are they looking? And now he realizes I'm here. This is why you don't want to ride against traffic. See, that guy wants to turn left, but you gotta watch. You gotta be more on alert. You gotta be on a higher state of alert because you have at least a 15% chance more of a run-in with a car than you would if you were going with the flow of traffic. Here's another one. Which way are they looking? They're looking for oncoming cars. He just realized I was there when he turned. So that's why it's not a good idea to ride against traffic. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to cross over and get on the correct side. If you time it just right where they're just looking that way and not looking your way, and if it's a clear shot for them to turn and you happen to be in the way, guess what? There's going to be another fatality. So I highly recommend you ride with the flow of traffic whenever possible. I'm going to ride out in the street a little bit here. Okay, in this situation, you can run on this gutter part, but keep in mind, debris from the street always works its way to the gutter. And it's not that smooth of a ride when you're going fast, but I use it just so I can let cars go by, so I don't take up the lane. Now if I want to go faster, I'll cross over and stay out here, and then I'll go faster. So this is street mode. This is the fast mode, and then go to the sidewalk mode, and go back to the 73 watts to 109. Anyway, we're heading down to old Casa Grande. Checking my mirrors, make sure nobody's coming up behind me to make a right-hand turn to run me over. It's nice to have the mirrors. And I don't know if you can see them, but they don't shake. I can identify where the cars are, which car is in which lane. You know, it's not shaking so bad where you can't tell. Even at night, you'll be able to tell where the headlights are. They're not like shaking all over the place. It's a pretty good little plastic mirror for what I paid for them. I mean, you know, they weren't that expensive. Just a real pain in the butt to put on. You see how I haven't had any encounters with cars riding on this side of the street where I had to stop. It's rare, but it can happen. But at least I'm in their line of sight. They're looking. And I see how this guy even backed up for me. Give him a nice little wave back. That's what I'm talking about. That's the difference between riding against traffic and with the flow of traffic. Well, boys and girls, that's our first lesson of the day. Riding an electric bike's so easy.
I'm not really even pedaling it. I'm not doing any exercising. Like I said, the only time I pedal it is to get it going. Because if you just give it the throttle to start you out, you use up a lot of wattage. You just see that the watts jump up to like 500-600 watts. So this way you're not pulling so many watts or amps. You want this thing to freewheel as much as possible. Yeah, we only have one bike shop here in Casa Grande. If they're too busy, they can't get to it right away, you gotta sweat. You gotta go all the way into Chandler or Queens Creek, I believe they call it. And maybe Maricopa. None of which are close by. They're, all at least 20, 25 minutes away. So this is where I usually stop. There's a little bar up here called the Wonder Bar. I haven't gone in there yet. There's not that many watering holes. Little bar. You can go in, have yourself a drink. You can have a beer, or you can have a shot, or listen to a little bit of music, play some pool. Place like that. Not a bar and grill, but just a little bar. And that's what this place is. It's just a little bar. Right here. It's called the Wonder Bar. Wonder where they came up with that name. Okay. Now, Casa Grande's also famous for its trains that runs down to the middle of their town. I often hear them.
Cool bike, hey, I like your bike,
Thank you. Now, here comes the train. They run through here regularly. There it goes. All that stuff's going to California and Nevada. Get an idea how long this one is. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. He turned off his engine. I guess he knows it's going to be pretty long. I think I see the caboose. It wasn't too long. Maybe half a mile, 3/4 of a mile long, maybe. Yeah. And then the locomotive pushing it from back. That's interesting. Well, I got to show you the trains of Casa Grande. All this is old Casa Grande. See how this person backed up? Notice no conflict when you're going with the direction of traffic.
Well, I did something new. I took the battery that was here, and I had those straps going up the main bar for my light. I mounted it down on my fender because I have that accessory fender mount, which means I could mount another battery in there if I want, a backup battery if I want, but it's an idea. It works. You got it out of there. I like it better that way. This fender's real sturdy, so it'll hold the weight, no problem. It does make the front end feel a little bit heavy, so I probably will add an extra half a pound in the front tire. a little bit. Just bring up that tire pressure up just a little bit, not much. Don't take much for these fat tires. I found out it just takes a little bit of tire pressure, all it takes. So bring up that tire pressure up just a little bit, kind of help with the weight a little bit. I like it. I think it's great because it gives me all this freedom now. I'm gonna take off all this red striping. I got some orange and copper 1/8 inch wide stripping. This is like 1/4 inch. It's way too wide. It's more like for a car. So I'll be taking that off. I'm gonna be taking off the RadRover and the Rad Power Bikes logos, and probably end up repainting them. You know, they'll be black, the same black, satin black. And then I'll be doing the pinstriping and some of that copper painting. You know, a little bit in the bike. I might be doing this little part in here a little bit. You know, figure it out. It's gonna look pretty cool when I get it done. And just so I'll let you know, you know, when I first bought this bike, when I was riding around stock, every once in a while people ask me about the bike. But now that I got it all done the way it is, everywhere I go, I get compliments on this bike all the time. So I have gotten a lot more notoriety out of this bike, the way it is, not the way it sits now, than it was stock. So I'm doing something right.
Now and then I think of when we were together, like when you said you felt so happy you could die. Told myself that you were right for me, it felt so lonely in your company. But that was love and it's an ache I still remember. Always something that I